Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Well, here we are. The wild ride has come to an end. I watched it earlier this evening, and I got some thoughts, but we're going to get through the episode, and then I will give you those thoughts. And before I do that, I will go ahead and say hi to my adoring public before Brad gets here and fucks it all up. Wow, damn, you guys are chatting here tonight. Yeah, I saw that. But it's a fucking StreamYard, dude. I could put it on the date and time that I wanted to, but because StreamYard is located on the East Coast, I guess, it automatically defaults to the next day. So it's thinking I want to do it on Friday night, and I'm like, no, I want to do it when I do it. But they're on the East Coast. But thank you for the heads up. I fixed it. Can't wait to see how this reaction goes before I binge the last 3 episodes. Without spoiling anything for you, my mustache is all jacked up. There were better episodes in the series in this season. This episode was not better than episode 7 was the best episode of the entire run. I don't know where I rank this one at, but I'm going to let you guys. Hello, Duckman. I'm going to wait for that to come on streaming. I mean, if it gets nominated, I can watch it on streaming, but it sounds like it's going to get a lot of buzz. So there you go. Oh, tomorrow's the weekend, Friday, Saturday. If you guys want to host a watch along, there's the link right there if you want to do it. I have tomorrow open and I have Saturday open. So like I said, I don't know if I want to throw a bone out there and put an awful movie out there just to get it going, but I may. Hello, Brad. How are you doing? After the last blood test, vampires must be attacking me or something. Oh, okay. Sounds like fun. Hello, Joga.
Well, you want to go into what like the general consensus is on this episode so far?
Not yet, because not everybody's going to feel the same way. Fix your mic. You got to do that thing you have to do when you come in. Oh shit! Yeah, fuck. Sorry.
Or is that better?
Yeah, I forgot the link. Sorry, I'm out of it. I'm a little bit distracted tonight because my Dodgers eliminated the Philadelphia Phillies in the worst fucking ending you will ever see to a baseball game. Philly, you were the enemy of this series. I feel your pain because, wow, the most fucked up ending to a baseball game I've ever seen. and it was a really good game. It was a gut-wrenching game, a pitcher's duel throughout, 1-1, went into 11 innings, and it ended on – I felt bad for the dude who threw the error because I understood what he was trying to do. It was instinct, but it just wasn't the right play. He had no chance, and the series ended on that. But my Dodgers, my reigning world champion Dodgers, so I was busy doing that. Okay, so let me get the link out here.
Does that sound better, man?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, guys. Let me invite you guys from the Patreon. I wish YouTube proper would let me do the invites to there because I really want the YouTube members to come on too sometimes, but it does not allow. It's not. I'm not doing something right. But let me get into the Patreon before you started. Like I said, I'm gonna wait till the end. Till we watch it.
Well, we have watched it for the record. But
I have watched it. Till we watch it. Yeah, till we
watch it again.
But,
watch the watch party of it.
Yeah, because some of you, how many in the chat have seen it already? So not that I'm going to spoil it for you, but
I mean, I will say because I didn't get a chance to mute certain terms before the episode dropped tonight, and so I wasn't exactly. I don't know. Maybe this is spoils it. Okay, I'll back off.
Yeah, back off. Yeah.
Irrational's seen it. Fourth has seen it.
Hold on. Sorry for the delay. Like I said, I was caught up in other shit today. All right, so Patreon, your link is there. Is my koala in there? I'll send her. I didn't see her in the chat, but I wouldn't send her one because she's always fun to have along. All right, everybody should have their link. I should see the Peace Duck coming up here soon. This last season of The Boys, I was not impressed with it all. To be honest with you, I was impressed with Anthony Starr and where they took the Homelander character as far as his portrayal of it. But the overall season of this was a gore fest that I didn't really, Season 5 of Stranger Things starts next month, and I guess you guys, I don't want to talk you to death. I cannot wait for that. I thought season 4 was a masterclass of storytelling, and I just can't wait to see how they ended. Hello, Clinton. How you doing? You must be muted.
What's up?
How you doing?
Meanwhile, we got the cat in the chat, so.
Cat, say something, please. I mean, I know it's one of you guys in here.
It's not like cat talk. Cat meow.
Like, what is that game? Let's Make a Deal, or where they all, or what? You're like something where they all come in dressed as costumes and shit. What's that game show? It's an old game show, but we've done it a bunch of times. Where they all come in like their contestants are all dressed up and crazy. This is what my chats become. What's your thoughts on James Gunn saying that this might be the last time? Very possible. Whenever they do these series and they're intertwined with everything else that they're doing, they don't need to go on forever. They just need to go on to the next thing.
Last episode, not last appearance.
I will say there's one big surprise in this episode.
No.
Okay,
only one.
I must have missed that because I didn't feel any of them. All right, so hey,
I'll tell you.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and get it going. I may have to watch this episode again because I may have missed something, but that's what they're there for. Okay.
This big surprise has nothing to do with the story.
All right, is everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Let me get back. By the way, the title was like the dumbest one. By the way, I got what it meant, but it didn't really do anything for me. Hold on.
Maybe it just meant it's a trap.
All right, I am at watch or listen to the companion podcast. I am at.
I got the whole Mortal Kombat, with Peacemaker tease in front of it. That's where
I'm right after that. I am at.
Right, the recap.
Yeah, I'm at. I skipped that. Hold on.
There's one question, and we'll probably revisit it when we finish up the episode. That I'll ask, I'll kind of pause it now. Maybe we can revisit this then. But it's like, do you think after this is aired now that he kind of opens the floodgates on, okay, here's a whole bunch of like unannounced projects that I tease you guys now. Here's what they are.
Maybe. So where are you at? The Mortal Kombat thing?
I just passed it. Yeah, I'm at the recap.
All right, skip the recap and we start right after the recap.
Okay.
All right, everybody. All right, everybody. We're right after the recap. 3, 2, 1, and hit it. You should be seeing the Peacemaker podcast, which I am sort of now. Okay, now I got the Mortal Kombat stupid thing.
We're at 1 month ago.
Yeah. Hold on, what's something wrong with HBO Max? Let me restart. All right, I'm at the DC logo where Superman's breaking the chains. Everybody sync yourself up there. And now we're at 1 month ago.
That sounds like your kind of restaurant, Big Belly Burgers, William.
Yeah, but those burgers are a bit small. I saw one of them on the tray.
Yeah, it's a good observation. John Cena can sing. He does sing.
Wow, you must think I could sing.
Well, you got vocal cords, man. So
Anything I quote unquote sing would be quote butchered.
fourth spoilers. We weren't going to reveal that Williams in this episode. Why are you spoiling the comments, man?
Attempts at comedy are not by default funny, guys.
My duck's funny.
I get a laugh out of the duck, especially when I see a new one.
Is Idiocracy a movie you'd watch, or have you watched it?
I haven't watched that movie in years.
You keep calling it a movie.
I mean, what is... Hold on, let me pull it up, because you bring this up a lot, and I think I'm referring to the wrong thing. You're talking about the 2006 movie, right?
The one where he travels in time?
Yeah, Terry Crews. Like, yeah, I've seen this. Wow, it's been a while. I think I saw it when it first came out. That's almost 20 years ago. Oh my God.
It's not a movie anymore.
Oh, okay. I got you now. I got you.
It's a documentary.
That guy looks nothing like me, but sure, whatever.
I think part of the joke of this series is that he can't dance and he can't sing.
This is an episode that it could have been 34 minutes, and I wouldn't have really minded.
I'm at the title screen now.
Yeah, we're at the dance. I didn't skip it this time, so. The song, like I said, and by the way, is heavily fucking featured in this episode. Kind of grew on me, so.
By the way, another like, the whole controversy of like the whole Nazi, that I think I might have caught another one in that dance where they're doing like this, where she might be able to read like a Sig Heil into that.
It's not controversial if the shit happened. It's not controversial. It's
controversial on Fortnite.
No, it's like it would be just as controversial there. It's like on Wolfenstein. There's swastikas everywhere. You know why? Because it's about World War II and it's about Nazis. History being uncomfortable is not controversial. At least not for the, somewhat educated. And I don't mean scholars.
Oh, history's full of horrors. Some of them ended just in 1960s. It still makes me laugh that people think New Mexico is another country and Bad Bunny's not an American because he's in Puerto Rico.
Hey, wait, there's a New Mexico.
The best part of that opening is the damn eagle.
Based on what we see in this episode, do you think like these portals are still going to be a factor?
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that when we get through the whole episode. But
this whole thing with him was just this stripper thing was just completely.
This portal, I guess, is what you want to call it, looks huge now. So much bigger.
Here we're at the Willy Wonka one.
yeah, we're in the gingerbread universe. I don't know what this means.
What is? I'm not looking at the screen. Oh yeah, well the last time you saw him, he was slamming the door shut to get them out of there. So he's. I
Right,
he's
okay,
still alive. Yeah, he escaped. I don't know. I don't know if the new generation gives a shit about the Simpsons, guys. Sorry.
Well, we're getting another movie.
I barely do, and I was there.
They give enough of a shit for it to get another movie.
No, you still. It's not like the generation that watched it is dead. I just don't know if it's grown an audience in the last 30 years. You can still make movies with maintaining the shit you built. You know, this is kind of gross.
Yeah. We're off
Nobody
to the
had a flamethrower or anything or something that.
Yeah, come on. It's like if you're going to open like interdimensional portals. I mean, I would think you'd want to go in there armed.
And what did he has a he just happens to have a switch a razor like that, you know.
I mean, Rick Flag of all people would say, "Okay, we're going in here packing heat." I mean, and more than just handguns, but I mean, you know, I did kind of make me laugh though. They explode into the confetti when you shoot them. I would have at least had a gingerbread man in there. I would have had so much fun with that. If making this like a killer gingerbread man.
I think you are going to go back there, just obviously, because I think you're going to see Peacemaker's brother as a villain again. And if you do that, you're going to have to go back to that universe.
And by the way, the Economos, that line you just had there, it's kind of like what we initially predicted was going to be like Lex's. He gets hold of Kryptonian technology and like rips open the Pocket Universe, and it's because he's playing around with technology we don't understand. That's pretty much what Economos has said right there. It's like we're playing around with stuff we don't understand here. So that concept made it into her eventually. Yeah. Thank you for that, Stray Cat, whoever you are.
Hashtag Brad the spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. The line just played a minute ago, and that's what's happening in the episode. For God's sakes, that's not a spoiler.
Wow, yeah, you might want to watch that before you get too deep into this. It has relevant references.
I mean, it's not critical. I mean, you're not going to be like lost. but it definitely helps.
Fucking judo masters wearing his costume under all that. James Gunn has got a thing for cocaine in this series. My goodness.
And you know how the judo master killed all those people? That in a real electrical world, that would never happen.
Yep, there's your skull spiders. And there went your skull spiders.
Boy, they were such a part of the story.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of felt that coming, though.
These song lyrics are wonderful.
Now, when basically this reminds me of Stargate, those fools would go through. They didn't have any of these biosuits on, but they were armed to the teeth, man. Yeah, the lyrics of this song is pretty family friendly.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of talk about this since the episode dropped. So
Not as much as I should be. That came about in a time where I wasn't, to be honest with you, paying a lot of attention to DC for a lot of reasons. Yeah, this was back in 07. Oh. But it is the basis of this planet, the artist dimension. Go ahead and put the link in the chat for those of you who want to do some extra research on it. There you go. How you doing, Hosea? Too much talking in this episode too. Usually, the talking in the episode, the dialogue for most of the season has been really good and really heavy. I was just like, I was so tempted to just speed ahead because some of these things I'm like, oh, okay, because like the conversations just weren't important to me. You know, it's like.
That and the music.
Yeah, I'm Twisted Sister. I grew up listening to this song, and it just did not have the punch for me that it did.
Well, because this is a very like it's the way it's by the you don't know what with the piano. It's like a slow, somber.
I thought it was Johnny Cash at first. I'm like, did I miss a Johnny Cash Twisted Sister fucking remake? But then it started going on. And it was like, oh. I really didn't like this episode.
This is a series-ending musical compilation, like they do on every freaking series they nowadays.
I wouldn't have minded it if it meant anything. To me, nothing in this episode meant anything to me, to where it was like, and once again, it's not where I would have left anything. But see how you guys think about it.
We still haven't gotten to the only surprise of this episode.
And I'm trying to figure out which surprise you're talking about, because I nothing in this episode surprised me. But
yeah,
maybe I missed something.
I think it's fair to say that a lot of fans and quite arguably Gunn himself maybe overhyped this episode a fair amount.
Well, even without them, because that's what fans do. Oh, Nelson! Wow. I didn't realize that was them.
But the whole thing about this is like so pivotal. I didn't even show my publicist these episodes.
Well, I also don't know the context of his conversation with Zaslav either. So, wow, they dug Nelson up. Holy shit! And that just goes to tell you, man. If you have a couple hits, there's an audience out there for anybody. More power to them. I mean, I only know one song, and I only know who they are because they were Ricky Nelson's twin sons, but back in the 90s.
Bop.
No, that's Hanson. Remember this?
Hanson, Nelson, whatever.
Not the same. They had one hit. Love and Emotion. I'm like, oh my God. They played the shit out of that song. I'm sorry. This meant nothing to me. This whole episode was like a rock video. Not even rock. It's like soft rock because Nelson ain't hard. I'm sorry. It's just then it's not. It's a ballad. It was a ballad with superheroes in it. Well, he wrote those same 3 projects while he wrote the previous separate episodes, and those were fine. So I don't know if that's the case. I'll get to that too, because I wasn't a fan of where this leads to because of reasons, but you know. I mean, if I was doing a group watch at the center, everybody would have their lighters out doing the whole 90s ballad thing. Like, all this episode was missing was David Coverdale. Google him, kids, if you don't know.
I just didn't care about these two at all.
Yeah, I certainly didn't care about the wife. I mean, she's not part of the story to me, you know. And Adebayo, it's just this portion of it just didn't really do anything for me. Oh, yeah. I just thought it should have ended better. I thought it should have. I like I said, when you're telling a story, it's like I said, it's like flying a plane. If you don't land the plane safely, then it kind of just like leaves things where I don't want them to be. Checkmate is a sizable deal, and at that level of the Suicide Squadish, you know, mid level. Yeah, Checkmate is pretty substantial. This messing was just missing way more action, like 90% more action for me. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later. And this was a painful scene to watch because it's bad. It was like if we transported Brad into Peacemaker. Economist was telling the same type of jokes that Brad tells on the stream.
No, if we did that, it would be way funnier.
No,
Hysterical.
they gave
It's
the same response that we get out of you.
Oh, by the way, it'd be perfect switch though, because I think Economist is the fan of the Raid and the Furious.
Tell a joke, Brad. Any joke.
Why the chicken cross the road? I'm waiting.
Kind of Brad.
I have an answer to that, but it's not appropriate for Williams' show.
Yeah, we get demonetized enough.
Well, I don't know why, because we all know the answer is to get to the other side.
Do you have another joke?
This just didn't have the punch that last episode had. They were trying to go for emotional moments. That last episode, the 7th episode, really did well. They just didn't matter in this episode. I really wanted this episode to be really good because of what it was, but it just wasn't. It just reminded me of like the Peanuts gang cheering up Charlie Brown after he fucks up and just, gets down on himself, and then here comes Snoopy to save the day or do something, And in this case, Eagly's like the equivalent of Snoopy, but not as involved. It was just like, cheer up, Charlie Brown. This is what that episode was for me. Cheer up, Charlie Brown. It's like, yeah. And I kept hearing about this boat all season long, and it was a rock video, man. It was like, we got to see Sexy Shazam play that song, but I got that in the opening. I could have, I don't know, man. I just didn't feel it this episode. Yes, hit the like button. So like, subscribe, join us if you're watching us on X. There you go, youtube.com/. Even if you aren't a fan of this episode. I can't really defend this episode, and I love this series. I love this. This season was really good. It's just this, I just wish it would have ended on something that was a little bit. And here we go with the song again.
All sequelitis. Sequelitis is ruining series.
No. Sequelitis is not even a thing. It's execution. Continuation and continuity is fine. It's if you don't do it right. You see what I mean? Because you could have all this happening and leading. I do not mind. I want to be led into the next thing, That's fine. So if there is a such thing as sequelitis, that's fine with me. They just didn't execute it right here. It was just these Lego pieces did not fit together in this episode for me.
Here's the big surprise to me. I could have swore this singer was a woman from the very beginning.
Oh. He has range. But I saw the video immediately after I heard the song, so I saw him singing, and yeah, it was clearly. Like I said, I like the song. It's growing on me. And if you listen to the lyrics, it's like the last 5 years.
I'm not criticizing the man singing. I just thought it was a woman from the very beginning.
I guess if you never saw them.
Which exactly is. I haven't seen them until now.
Yep, I looked him up. Freckles and that mustache. This song is old too. I didn't realize how old it was. Like I said, this song's lyrics like the last like from COVID till now. It's like it's literally describing the last 5 years. This is something else I could have done without the spider thing. These guys are at Comic Con and they had it set up like this for Comic Con at a thing called PeaceCon or the Peace Fest, and they were that 60 Shazam was actually there. For those you comic nerds, there's Checkmate. So kind of cool. You can tell what era he's a you like to say. Well, us comic book fans, like Highlander, you can sense the era that somebody's a fan of, and his is right in the middle of the '80s, mid to late '80s.
If it ended right here, them walking out of Checkmate, great, perfect.
It would have been better than what I'm just about to get. Yeah, because I still would have been like, what the fuck, dude. And then the amount of time that the actual story takes, and when you see that 109 time, I'm like, oh shit. Even with credits, it's gonna be.
Yeah, if they had just ended it with them forming Checkmate and then have this begin the next season, that would have been so much better. And then I just thought of another thing that pisses me off about this episode.
What's that?
Have to wait till it's over.
Nah.
All right, so that's the episode, and there wasn't really anything. I don't recall it. Okay,
A Prisoner for Metahumans. Where did I just watch that in the theaters?
Yeah, this really didn't amount to much of a finale.
Where have I seen that
well,
before? Somewhere in the theaters just recently. A Prisoner for Metahumans is in an alternate universe. Where did I see that before just now?
Superman.
Well, obviously you saw it in Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Fantastic Four with the pussy ass space god.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know what you guys are talking about right now.
No, I'm just being facetious. I know he's referring to Superman.
I like the overall judgment of this series is I thought there was a lot more good than this episode can take away. Here's the thing, and I have several problems with it. I have several problems with when you only have 8 swings at the apple to tell your story, which is 8 episodes. Many of them very short. This is the episode where a lot of ground needed to be covered, and I don't feel that the ground was covered. It is a setup to Man of Tomorrow, which is in 2027. I'm trying to drag myself to 2025. Okay, you have a lot of stuff in between Man of Tomorrow and now that could have been featured in connective tissue brought into. You have lanterns literally anytime now. You're going to have a Supergirl movie long before a full fucking year before Man of Tomorrow. There's so many things that you could have done. And when you give yourself the tool of alternate realities to tell that story, I think that at this point, and this could change as it goes on, that there just wasn't enough momentum for me. There wasn't enough doing. I didn't mind that there was a bunch of cameos. I just didn't think that this episode for a season finale did anything to move the story any further than the previous 7 episodes did. I mean, there was nothing substantiated in this episode. Rick Flag is an asshole. Peacemaker still feels bad about all the people who died around him because of him. They all don't like what they are doing, so they want to do something else. I'm okay with Checkmate being formed. That's fine, but that wasn't a pivotal point for me. The whole relationship between Harcourt and them could have been established throughout or beyond. I didn't need this episode to take up that time. The Adebayos and her wife, that's not, I'm not saying that wasn't important to that character. It wasn't important to this episode, and I thought that was more time that could have been put. I just thought there was a potential to do something, not necessarily what I predicted, but something a little bit more impactful than what they did. The problem I have with this episode is it was not consistent with the previous 7. See, it just wasn't as good as the previous 7, and for where it is as the season finale, it should have been much better than the previous 7. Episode 7 was episode 7 was one of the best comic book storytelling I've seen in a very long time and throughout my history of watching these things. This was not consistent with that. This was a drop off from that. And there was no, you don't need final resolutions to everything, but you didn't really have, I just don't feel like I moved any significant amount towards anything. I guess I'll just have to wait and see with the other stuff. But you know, the whole
series finale, just like freaking Alien Earth, man.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, you can do these series finales right.
They don't finish a fucking story. They always just leave it as a cliffhanger.
But see, well, I'm going to go back to Dexter. I don't know if you guys watched Dexter Resurrection. They did it right there. They moved their story past where the theme was, and they moved it significantly into the next frame without going into the next frame. Plenty of TV shows that are streaming shows can do this and have done this. These last two that we watched just haven't done it. The problem isn't the format. The problem is the ideas and the execution of it. There's no reason why we couldn't move a lot further.
Oh, there was another one that was just crappy too, series that you're forgetting to mention.
What's that?
House of Dragons, that last season. They built up to nothing.
Well, the House of Dragon is already a story that's written, though. We know where that story goes. They've told you where that story goes. They've actually told you in Game of Thrones how House of Dragons ends. If you're paying attention to Game of Thrones, if you actually watch Game of Thrones in any great detail, you actually know how House of Dragons ends.
Yeah, but I waited all season long to watch dragons fighting, and what did I get? No dragons fighting.
Well, you got dragons fighting throughout that season.
William, another thing here now. Can anybody maybe like fill me in a bit, because this kind of flew under the radar for me. It's like
I did not see this. Give
me
a timestamp, Rational, so I can go.
You're right, yeah. Because if this was teased, it was definitely a very subtle tease.
And that's not, you don't subtle do shit
exactly.
Dark Side. He's a
you
so
throw
yeah,
the Omega symbol on shit and like say here he's coming. Yeah.
I really, and there's so many things that you could be doing right now. I mean, this is what I mean about them getting to the point where DC is a prism to which anyone, anywhere, on any format can come to. If you can come in through the TV shows, you can come in through the movies, you can come in through the comics and graphic novels. And you got something happening with Scott Snyder and Absolute DC and DC KO with alternate reality timeline that could have really linked up to this and really combined it. I just thought this was it didn't. This episode didn't need to be spectacular. I just needed it to be a little bit better than it was for a season finale.
Right, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Dark Side Apocalypse, Tease of Salvation. Salvation is the planet of the new gods Apocalypse for training use." Will it be?
Dude, I haven't touched that series, and I didn't really go. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I'm going to be an honest comic book geek. That wasn't a good time for me at DC. There was a couple of years from like 2005 to maybe 2009, or around the Infinite Crisis time, that I stuck to those stories. And then as we got into 2006, 2007, I just wasn't into it, for a lot of different reasons. So I don't know that story in a great detail, but I will look it up now. And you know what? Rational will cover it when we do the final autopsy of Peacemaker season 2. They don't necessarily need to connect it to that though, but yes, but they could, but they didn't.
And I've seen a few edit kind of pieces go up already talking about like the salvation story that maybe
I put it in the link in the chat.
Some connective tissue to Apocalypse and Darkseid, Desaad specifically too.
But the way they can introduce elements without ever coming to fruition, especially if you're talking about not. I mean, how long is he going to be stuck in? Is he going to be stuck in there until Man of Tomorrow? That's 2027. What am I getting? Am I going to get a checkmate show? I don't know. I'm going to have to revisit Salvation though, because like I said, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I was not paying attention to these.
And if this episode specifically, if this is what like wowed Zaslav on Gun's pitch, Zaslav must be very easily amused. Stop pulling that guy up.
That's a pocket dimension, not a alternate universe.
Well, yeah, I think you're just kind of talking semantics there.
Yeah,
it's sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, it's because where Peacemaker Earth X was, that wasn't a pocket dimension. That was an alternate reality. That literally was the same reality. So yeah, I think depending on who's writing the story, whoever's writing the story can define that to what they want to, I guess. Didn't hate this episode. Yeah, that's one of the things I thought was like, okay, this bitch, you've seen some wretched shit in your entire time throughout these previous episodes. You've been a part of, and I'm saying, and then all of a sudden, people dying, just oh, they're killing our friends. I'm like, okay, you didn't seem to have many friends in the series 6 episodes. So I'm like, that kind of like was a little bit like, okay, and then all of a sudden she's there with them, and Judo Master had more of a plot to him turning than them because he actually kept to know them as people in the previous episode. So yeah, I agree with that, man, Mighty Rex.
If they just didn't have Peacemaker going sent to another universe and just stopped it with Checkmate, that would have been great.
It depends on what he's telling me next, though. So that's the thing. It's like, because this is a continuing. This
next in the next 2 years or so.
Well, and that's where I asked, like, is this
where
Gunn?
I didn't know where, Yeah.
Is this where Gunn like kind of like comes out publicly? It like starts announcing projects that stem out of this ending.
That's I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that when if this is one of the things he pitched his ass off, what else was it? Once again, when I'm not in the conversation, I'm guessing, but I'm hoping there was a little bit more connective tissue to what he was doing, because like I said, we may never get a Peacemaker season 2. We don't really need one, to be honest with you. You just need the story to continue. It's just like some of the Marvel stuff. You don't necessarily need another season of so-and-so, as long as because their story can continue anywhere, because they want you to watch the whole story. So I'm going to put that on my calendar. So when we do the Saturday show, we're going to talk about that dimension a little bit, because like I said, I am not as educated on it as I should be, but era of DC just wasn't doing it.
No, there's no comic book aficionado who knows every story from DC and Marvel inside and out. Everybody's got their blind spots.
Let's see. All right. Well, we got that. Hey, thank you for the $2 super chat. Yeah, there's some stuff that I've been reading. By the way, reading Absolute Universe there are some blind spots that I had missed because certain characters come up that are referenced in certain books that I've given up on Wonder Woman. So I had to go back and get the reference points of those. So yeah, it's been but yeah, just and plus I had just come back from deployment, and I was just setting up a unit. I wasn't beyond. I still had the center, but I wasn't as day-to-day geek like I am now. That's one of the reasons why I got out, is because I didn't have any energy after that stuff to do what I really wanted to do. And I used to read, dude, I would read everything that came. I used to read everything that came out until it got to the point it's like, oh, this is kind of pointless. Let's see. And I shouldn't have to. I do that too, but I shouldn't have to. Finish the way you start. Finish the way you operated midway through. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for a blowout, Game of Thrones, Red Wedding, penultimate episode or anything like that. But if you've shown me that you can do it at this level, and this show was storytelling at a very high level, all I ask, the very least, is you keep that storytelling consistent. I just felt like it dropped off at a time where we don't know if we're going to get a season 2, or if we need a season 2, or when's the next time we're going to see season 3. We don't know when we're going to see any of that stuff like that. So now, as we get on to these other stories, if he's connecting them in that manner, maybe that'll fill in the void. But right now, I don't have anywhere to go with this. So all possible.
And Alien Earth isn't guaranteed another season.
I have no faith we'll get absolutely anything. Then you don't know how retail and comic books work, then, son. That's all I can tell you. If you don't think we're getting something in the Absolute Universe beyond Papers and Staples, I need you to understand that this math thing for them, they're going to exploit. There's no way that you're going to sell 450,000
printing.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to average 450,000 sales on anything and not exploit that IP elsewhere. That's just not going to happen. It's not even about faith, Worth. It's about money. It's about greed. DCU ain't so high. Creature Commandos, dud. I mean, Superman, 42 million. Once again, this is all coming from a point of view that's outside of the decision-making process. So your faith notwithstanding, it doesn't, we're not, they're not thinking on that level. But once again, even without being able to be privy to those conversations, you just be able to, all you need to do is look at the consistency of anything like that that's done well. It gets adapted. It gets put in other formats. It just happens. I mean, it happened with Miles Morales. Miles Morales got up to that level of video games and movies because of what he was doing in the comics, and they couldn't ignore that anymore. And it's going to be the same with anything. Absolutely, there's just no way you're going to sell as much as they've sold consistently. And we're on a year now. I wouldn't be surprised if those plans aren't already being made and done. That's another thing. The Waller show is still happening from what I understand. So there's another way to continue because obviously her daughter is in Checkmate. And she's going to hate Rick Flag. And she'll probably put herself in between Argus and Checkmate. She'll probably play both sides, which would be interesting. I didn't hate this season. I didn't even hate this episode. I was just underwhelmed. I think underwhelmed is what I meant. I'm with you there. I mean, like I said, I really didn't like this episode. I don't hate this episode. I just didn't like this episode. And I felt myself not liking it halfway through because I'm like, when you know how much time you have left and what kind of ground you would have wanted to be covered and wasn't covered and hasn't been covered yet, then it's like, shit. William, is this a real Rick Flag or is it Lex Luthor hiring Clayface to improve things? Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems a little bit abstract, but it's always possible when you have a shapeshifter involved. Even though I thought you can't really kill that Clayface. Loki's final wasn't really definitive. It was sort of, but Loki's finale is going to lead to something way larger than Loki's finale, and that's what this could have the potential to do. I don't know. The subordinates were doing the cocaine. By the way, what's with all the cocaine this season? Shit, damn. I don't think he's slashing projects. I think he's seeing how things unfold and changing his mind. That's what the smart people do. I gotta meet somebody. There you go. Fourth, have you seen the trailer? James Gunn, 8. The Madman, we thought. That's what I'm assuming, because at this point in the story, why would it just be about Peacemaker? He's been a part of a team since the Suicide Squad, so it doesn't need to be about him. The shape of the helmet for Orion is similar, but I don't know about him being Peacemaker, but who knows, man? I don't write the stuff. Were there many of your fellow soldiers who came out as nerds while you were serving? Yeah, mainly because we didn't have much to do, and we would be at PXs or something like that, and you have the little comic book rack, and I'd say, hey, read this. Or I'd have my stuff sent to me. I would have comics sent to me just so I could have something to read. And then after I was done with them, I would give them away to my unit. Yeah, this wasn't a good episode for him. This was not a good episode. He had 2 really good episodes, and this one wasn't really one of them. Also, I think Loki season 2 led to Satisfy. Well, I love Loki season 2. I really like that show. I actually like both seasons of Loki. I think we're going to get a better understanding of just how good Loki season 2 was when Secret War comes around, because people have just forgotten. They've been thinking Doom, Doctor Doom, Doctor Doom. You forget who's holding all the strands of reality right now. It's Loki. He's holding the multiverse together with his hands, literally with his hands. So Doom is going to have to deal with him, or he's going to have to deal with Doom. And when you say Secret Wars, I think that's what the Secret War is. It's the forces that storyteller Loki, has to recruit to fight Dr. Doom, who's trying to undo all reality. So yeah, I think we'll get to that. It doesn't matter what kind of characters are used on Darkseid as long as Darkseid is consistent. It could be Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, Daffy Duck, whatever you want to put down there. If Darkseid is consistently portrayed as we've seen him, I wouldn't care what the characters are around him because he's going to think of them as bugs just like we did. If we have an issue with those characters, Darkseid, a god, is going to look down on them and just fucking Omega beam them. And that would be hilarious. So yeah, I wouldn't mind. When somebody is telling a story, it's hard to interpret how they're feeling about it. He may look at this episode and it may be his masterpiece. He may be but remember, when you ask him, it's going to be in totality. All the stories that he's got going, he knows how they are going to end. He knows how Lanterns ends. He knows how Woodchuck. He knows all this. We're trying to piece together the crumbs that he's left us in this little finale he got there. So. Yeah, and that you know what? I said that last time. Were we going to get at least a resident? Dude, that thing was dancing with him. It's in the intro, and you see him like every episode. I'm like, at the very least, if I don't get any cameos or anything like that, I'm going to find out why is that thing. What is that? Nothing, nada. Not something I shouldn't have to wait fucking 2 years for. What are you? What are you doing? And why is it okay that whatever the equivalent of a baby, it's okay that you're burning one every episode? Question. I had it, I don't know, man. Casual viewers will be confused and saying, I don't think it will be hard for them to come back to it once it is referred to leading into Doomsday, because it probably won't be. They won't wait till Doomsday to bring that out. It's there. Loki season 2 is there for you to go see. As long as you do a good job in referencing Loki season 2, I think they should be fine. Plus, Loki is a very popular character. Loki isn't just a TV character. Loki was in one of the most successful comic book movies ever made in Avengers. He was the main villain in Avengers. And, when he came out at Comic-Con with that fucking get-up on. So people know Loki, and they know where to go to find those storylines. So we're going to wrap it up. Let's see. Darkseid won't be something tells me. I feel we don't know if we're ever going to see Darkseid, though. That's just a theory. And if we see Darkseid, it could be they could spend the next 5, 6, 7 years referring to Darkseid, and we never see him until like the
kind of related from Rational.
Right. Oh, right. Darkseid is going. William, if Darkseid's going to show up, I don't know. It all depends on how he views these things. It all depends on his philosophy on alternate universes and the fourth world. Does he think of the fourth world as a traditional fourth world where Darkseid and anybody in the fourth world, New Genesis and Apocalypse, are unique because they are outside the multiverse? Or does he think about it as, as a creationist type of thing to where, he is creating a universe? I would need to be able to ask him that, because that answer would go a long way to telling me, will we ever see a Ray Porter Darkseid? When we see Mr. Miracle, is it going to be a brand new Darkseid? Because that's relevant. I don't know. I don't have the answers there. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get Darkseid anytime soon. You're either going to get a flash of Apocalypse tonight, or you're probably not going to see him for another 8 or 9 years. Don't get mad at me. I respect that this is a Snyder Lover channel franchise, but I find Darkseid a better casting. Why would I get mad at you? Did you say something I was supposed to get mad at, Jose?
I think he's saying he thinks somebody else would be better. That Darkseid.
Oh, 100%. Listen. I like Ray Porter and I like that version of Darkseid, but once again, it depends on where he's telling the story. Is he telling the story chained to the overlap of the DCU that his universe emerged from? If so, then that Darkseid will be relevant because he was part of that universe. Or is he saying that the DCU as a multiverse has the same unique properties that Apocalypse? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not mad. I don't know the answer to that. I would have to hear his philosophy of it. Is he, as somebody who originated, James Gunn stuff originated in the DCU, does he consider that Darkseid canon because of the uniqueness of Darkseid? Or is he going to say just outright, I am creating a new fourth world? And if so, he has a right to choose whoever he wants to. As far as a better casting goes, it's a voice actor. So it's, I mean, I think Ray Porter has an excellent voice for the role, but then you know what? You could get the guy from who played Galactus to do the role. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, but a lot of it is going to be if he decides to create a new Darkseid, what kind of Darkseid is he going to create? And then he needs to go with that, you know. So without that decision making, access to that decision making, I couldn't tell you. So no, I'm not mad at all. Let's see. I'm never going to tell a storyteller how to tell a story. Would I prefer he did that? Yes. But I am not here to impart, what I think his story should be. I'm here to witness his story. And follow it for as long as I like it. But as far as like, if you were asking me, and he's not going to, I would be like, dude, you could do something special here and be historically correct with how the fourth world is viewed in the multiverse. But once again, he could also decide that wasn't consistent with the world that he's building, and he's the one telling the story. So. All right, guys. I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up, because, like I said, this just wasn't enough about this episode to really go on any further about it. Didn't hate the episode. I didn't like it, but if I'm gonna give my final postmortem on Peacemaker season 2, I really enjoyed. There are elements in this season 2 that I thought were some of the best I've seen anywhere with any on-screen comic book stuff. The dialogue in certain episodes was brilliant. I will say it again. Episode 7 is some of the best comic book storytelling I've seen in a very long time in a series format, probably since Watchmen. So that's where I'm at with it. So I'll watch the episode again to see what I missed, and I'll do some more research on Salvation, because, like I said, I am absent-minded when it comes to I know of the storyline, but I really never really engaged it. But you know what? Now I got a reason to. So, all right, guys. Any final comments on this one? Go ahead, Clint.
They just didn't stick the landing, like you said, man. If you don't land the plane.
Yeah, it just kind of puts it can go a long way to putting a damper of the whole ride. The peanuts are good. Then the soda was good. The seats are comfortable, but damn, we put that motherfucker nose first into the field. And, so yeah, we want to, but like I said, I will analyze this entire series, and I'm probably going to be better in depth 1 through 8. Where I thought was good, where I thought wasn't so good. But there we go. Clint, and then we'll go to Brad, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, I've said my piece about it. I wish they would stop leaving cliffhangers at the end of series. Brad, or just really super vague cliffhangers if you're going to leave a cliffhanger.
Yeah, if this if the whole thing about it, as he said, was this does more than tease. This sets up everything I'm doing. This is this is the launching pad for it. There needed to be a lot more explicit in this episode than just leaving. Okay, we're throwing him in this field out in this other dimension.
Unless there's something following. Yeah, even though he said it sets up Man of Tomorrow, that doesn't mean there's something interim that's not. We have fucking we don't know where this all could pop up again. So like I said, we don't have the advantage of being an
office. Which is why I raised the question of is he gonna give an interview or get on social media or
maybe a show that you do every 2 weeks. Oh, you know what?
Or just some format where he announces, oh, by the way, this
the podcast will happen. Yeah, remember, I'm gonna watch the podcast.
It's this and this and this is something that's directly sprung out of this episode that again was so instrumental.
Damn Dallas, and who shot that one guy?
JR.
That started that shit of cliffhangers.
Yeah, but you know what though? The cliffhanger thing with JR, we waited 84 days, I think. That shit happened in late May, early June, and fucking September. I remember that. Nobody was the old man and my mom. Didn't matter what you wanted to watch on Friday night. I remember them having guests over to watch that. That was so huge. That was so big. I remember September of like 1980, 81, where I would never forget the opening, the ambulances rolling through, and the whole thing was who shot Jay. It was big. It was on every magazine. But here's the thing, though. Mid-June, and then I roll over in September, bam, there's your cliffhanger. Now we got to wait like years, man. We got to grow old and grow whiskers and shit by the time we see the fucking follow-up to some of this shit, man. Game of Thrones, you could literally have your own kids in the middle, and they're walking and talking in between those episodes. So, yeah, I missed the good old days of network TV, but here we go. All right, guys. I'm starting to see Simpsons references in my chat, so that means it's time to go.
Woohoo!
Like I said, tomorrow's Friday. Probably on the vodka stream if I'm invited. Might do a late night stream depending on where my energy is tomorrow, but I got a lot of stuff to do. The month of October is wacky. Thanks for being here. Like I said, if anybody wants to do their watch along, the link is in there. Let us know what you want to do, when you want to do it. And until then, the next time I see you, what you're now tentatively scheduled is going to be Saturday evening. Since I don't have a Dodgers Game 5 to watch, thank God, because that would have been a disaster, I will probably have some space for a stream there. So have a good night, everybody. Like, subscribe, share the religion, and we'll see you later.